All right, hi gang. Hope you're all doing well. You've been back for a few days now. I just want to, in this video, walk you through Weebly real quick, even though I put a link up on D2L, and that tutorial should more than take care of things for you as you build your website. And I want to go over also just the requirements for the website and walk you through one sample page of what your website may look like to some extent. So maybe we'll talk about Weebly first, and then we'll go over the assignment requirements to give you some advice on writing your website pages. So here is just my little pseudo travel study page that I built myself. We'll take a look at this. You can see the control panel pretty well for Weebly. When you're actually making things, you want to be on build, of course. Once you're ready to turn your pages into drop downs, you'll say I have drop downs here. That's when you'll want to go to pages. I'll just show you this quick. People are pretty good at all this stuff. Not very confusing. You just drag it over, right? And you make your page from there. But sometimes people have missed how to make drop downs in the past. So let's cover that first. It seems to be less obvious. You go to pages. Each of these blocks that's pulled all the way to the left, those are your main pages that you'll see here. All the things that you just pull over, just kind of click on it and pull it over to the right a little bit, just that little bit, those are going to be your drop downs that fall under your main page. So you'll see London City of Illusion right here. I've got 3 drop downs, and there they are, right? And so that's how that works. You'll see here I have City of History, and then a drop down that's going to be called Test Page. And we go there, and ta-da, there it is, right? So that's found under pages. People have had trouble finding that in the past. So that's probably the big thing I can show you. Everything on the actual build page is pretty easy. But what do you do? We can go here. We'll go to, I've got a little test page, which has no London stuff, but rather just random things I threw in there. But of course, if I want to drag things over, I can drag over a title I have right here. I just click on this and drag it over, and ta-da, I've got a title. You can see for this image box here, I just clicked on image and dragged it over and dropped it there. Right down here, it looks like I've got another title. If I drag something over and don't want it, I can just X my way out of it. And ta-da, title gone. Let's say I wanted to drag some text over. I can drag over some text and drop it in. There it is. If you want to do columns, you'll see that this gave me one long block here. If you want to do columns, we'll go to a different page. We can see this easier. Here's 2 columns, right? If I wanted to put in a third, all I would do is click on the text, drag it over, drop it over here, and I would now have a 3rd column. Same thing down here at the bottom of the page. If I just dragged over 3 texts and dropped them all right under this picture, I'd have 1, 2, 3 columns. Right? And of course, I could just X on them to get rid of them, etc., etc. And you've got lots of choices. You know, your divider and spacer here are simply going to give you, divisions or extra space if you want between, say, your paragraphing. I don't know if I have any examples of that. Let's see what I got here. Yeah, I mean, these are kind of like spacers. It looks like I got it set up as blocks of text instead that I just didn't write in, and that's giving me space. So there you go. Those are the basics. I'm sure you're not struggling with this at all. Nobody does. And you can see down here you've got media. We'll take a look at one of my good pages. If you want to take a look at an actual page that I wrote that's similar to what you'll write in your website, this one right here under London City of Illusion, the first one, Emporium of Styles, is probably the page that I wrote that's closest to what I want you to write for your project. And you'll have a number of pages. This one, I'm guessing, is, I don't know, what does that look like? 500 to 700 words, maybe? 500-ish. And so you'll have about probably 6 pages or so like this. You could have shorter pages and more. I want about 3,000 words in all, right? But you can see for mine, and this is now getting into the assignment requirements. Here are the basics. I want you to have a good photo. It doesn't have to be one that you took. It can be a piece of art that you saw. It could be a photo that you took. It can be anything having to do with London that matches your theme for the page, the web page that you're on. I want you to have one quote. Could be from our reading, something you knew before you took the class, by anybody. But I want it to kind of match the theme, and in some ways, even maybe challenge the theme or extend it a bit. I just went with, a 19th century quote, Oscar Wilde here, 19th century British writer, but it seems to apply to this very modern image from Camden. So the old commenting on the new, so to speak. The theme of this page is simply An Emporium of Style is from one of our readings, the Soft City reading, the last book that we read. We didn't actually read this chapter for class, but it's one of my favorite chapters in there, that basically the city offers, stylistic reinvention. So the city can be style over substance, to be simple about things, right? And so you've got Oscar Wilde saying that in this here. Camden is certainly all style. Not to say it doesn't have substance, but there's plenty of style there. And then I'm moving in here very, very quickly then through everything we talked about when we talked about essays, sort of myriad ideas, all sort of working toward a theme. I'll put this link up on our D2L page, and you can actually read through this, but I'll just kind of point out a few things that I'm doing. I'm talking about migrating to the cities, so I have in here all kinds of things. I've got the 19th century press. I've got the Jewish population on Cable Street. You can see I've got the Sex Pistols over here, and this is a very stylistic moment in the late 70s, attacking royalty, right? That was sort of the style of punk. Right before that, though, I'm way back in the 18th century in Hogarth here, that, to have style meant you were a dandy or a man about town. And so I've got, a nice little, what's it called here? A gallery, I guess this would be, of Hogarth prints that I just sort of, took all the images from online. You saw these, say, at the Tate and other places. And so I've got Hogarth in here to prove that London has always been a place of style, the big city where you can reinvent yourself, move through, people, be a rake, a ladies' man. But then I'm leaping forward from there, from the 18th century. I'm in the 50s, back to migration, and talking about some high-profile things here, mentioning Rabin in his argument to kind of solidify what I'm saying, sort of a source, so to speak. London has an amalgam of styles, Camden Town here, so I'm now referencing my picture, talking about punk. And to kind of close it all out, I actually borrowed some Clash lyrics, and you can see I embedded a YouTube video of the Clash's London Calling. We watched a brief bit of that in class one day. But here are some lyrics to close it out. 1980 song, London Calling. London calling to the faraway towns. There it is. Move to the city, right? Style over substance, right? And so I close on some Clash lyrics. All this has to do with style over substance. I'm leaping through decades. I'm leaping through centuries, but all to prove this nifty little point of style over substance. And I've borrowed on all the different things. My experience in London, the art, music, all of these things, different movements like punk, etc., etc. And so that's what I want you to do with your pages. You've got a large theme, and it'll break down to several miniature themes inside of there, and that would be fantastic. Now, if you're looking for the actual requirements in the syllabus, you can find them. Here's our syllabus, about halfway through. See if I can find them here for you. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Post-London work. Here they are. Here's the basic requirements for the website. So you see them outlined there. Nice list. At least one photo per page. The quotation, mine was Oscar Wilde, right on my Emporium of Style page. 300 to 500 words per page. I want you to have about 3,000 words at all. Don't be fact-based. Remember, this is an essay. So you can leap about pretty quick, but you're showing some similarity in theme even as you move through decades or different art forms or whatever it might be. So don't just give us a dumping of facts, but rather make an argument, make a point out of all this. Multiple perspectives on one thing, as we talked about in class, also very cool. So make sense of things in various ways. But the exciting thing here when doing travel writing is to show us your thought process, show us why these things are connected, show us you connecting them, sort of talking it out, so to speak, as you pull all of these various threads and ends together. Make the non-obvious seem obvious to us. And that's the exciting thing about travel writing, right? Finding themes and connections where they don't seem to exist, or they're at least not obvious connections. And so you're making the non-obvious obvious. That's what's fun about all of this. Just make sure then when you're done, you upload a link. You can put it on D2L. You could email me a copy too when you're all done with this. Don't forget you've got your cultural competence essay. Make sure you've got your 2-source annotated bib. There's that spot to upload them on D2L at the very end of our D2L discussion posts. They can all go there. And then that'll be it, folks. So if you need anything, drop me a line. Otherwise, I'll just assume that this, your major work, will be done within 10 days of us getting back, right? So there's your deadline. I'll post This video will be on D2L until the course is over, but I'm also going to post my web page here, or my website, I should say, in London. But the best example is this page right here. The other pages have a little bit of stuff too, if you want some other examples, but the one that's the most fleshed out is this page right here. So you can see how these essays work. The last thing I'll say is don't forget we had some good readings before we left, and so they would be worth looking at too. You know, we read Small Places, What Does It Mean to Be a Tourist? That might give you some ideas to pull in. We really like the Rebecca Solnit writings on why we travel, and it's this sort of this journey of the soul and all of these type of things. So you can look at that as well. All of that is fair game to sort of steal and rob themes and to incorporate those into your own writing, your own essay writing, your own travel writing. So I hope you enjoyed the course. I certainly enjoyed traveling with you. It's always a lot of fun. So thank you everyone for a great couple of weeks, and I'm looking forward to your websites. Let me know if you need anything. All right, bye everybody.